I am?
Yep. What we got today, Jackie?
You're going to Castlegate.
Oh yeah? What am I gonna do there?
Whatever you must do.
Whatever I must do?
Yeah.
Okay. Come here, woman.
Work.
Alright. Up 2, 3, 4.
I gotta open the door.
Oh wait.
Alright. Oosh. Okay, sorry. Thought there was a bug there.
I can. What are you doing?
Picked.
I will. I gotta go
What?
get a couple other things though.
Okay.
I gotta go to
Our car.
storage facility for some lights, and I gotta come.
Here's
go to
Mr.
Home
Bill, our friendly neighbor.
Depot. Lock. Unlock. There we go. I got paint all over the side. Oh, Mr. Bill. All right, ready?
He's all stiff. Aww, you're so cute. How do you stop it?
All right. Just hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Just leaving the storage facility here, or actually just had to pick a couple things up. So it's gonna be a little bit bumpy while I turn around. I had to come over here and check on one of our tenants. Something I never even thought about. I probably should have, especially in today's day and age with the rising cost of rentals and availability. Is we had a tenant who decided that they would just go ahead and live in one of our storage units. So let's see if I can find it here for you. The camera's gonna get a little wonky. So we've got this unit over here, which my partners might get mad at me for showing this, but all right, but right there, I know that sun's real bright. You see that glass, that bottle there? There was a couple potted plants, and they had, you know, been apparently not using a restroom, a public restroom, and using that, so it's pretty nasty. Something that I never thought I'd have to really deal with, but at, you know, at this point in the game, I shouldn't really be surprised anymore, I guess. So anyway, went in there, put an overlock on it. Thankfully, the neighbors next door were the ones that told us about it. They're also some of our customers, and actually the sellers of this property. They used to own it. They still rent from us. But anyway, so I went in there, did a put an overlock on there. We have a management system, or a call center, and a online management system, third party, and they've got the tenant, this lady, on a recorded line, basically admitting that she was living in it. So she's going through the eviction process right now. We'll end up, if she doesn't get her stuff out, you know, auctioning off her stuff. But it's just, this is the stuff you see, you know, in this world of real estate. It can be kind of head scratching from time to time. But anyway, just a quick update on a couple of our projects. So pulling out on the road, Whiting Field's right behind me there. We are going over to pick up the last couple little items for from Home Depot for our rental over at Castlegate, which was house 2 of the hat trick that I did in real estate. My partner Blake just got back from a trip up in Gary, Indiana, at a couple of our properties. Through his superior negotiating skills, he was able to save a deal that is going to save us tens of thousands of dollars and time and potential damage to some of our units, because we are basically what we're doing is we're firing our third-party management team up there because they just suck, and they almost tanked a well-constructed and thought-out deal that we had, and kind of underhandedly, we didn't even know they did it, and we ended up finding out that the reason the deal wasn't happening was because of our management team. So anyway, he got that under control. We got a couple demos going on up there, cleaning up the park and the surrounding area, and then so that's good. We got another park that's here that's kind of been our problem child from the get-go. Bought it wrong, put bad management in place, kind of got punched in the teeth a few times, finally got it up and running, but it's the last septic tank that hasn't been replaced. We replaced all the other ones, is apparently having issues. So I think it's just it's over full. It looks like we had just evicted a drug dealer out of that unit, so it looks like there's a lot of non-toilet paper items, so to speak, down the drain. So I think that is actually probably just a full or abused system, and it'll be fine once we pump it. So that should be good there. But the big thing is next week we are closing on a 61 unit RV park in Pensacola, Florida. So all the stuff that I bought up to date, with the exception of this storage facility that I just left, which is technically 110 units, but you know, it's not like you know, you're not making $700, $800, $900, $1,000 a month per unit off of a storage facility. Now the management, I know I kind of talked about our one tenant issue, but other than that, it's been like flawless and super awesome and chill, and we're steadily increasing occupancy. We've gone from about 25% up to last I heard was 57%, which is still pretty low, but when you're starting at about 1/4% occupancy, and in, you know, about 6 months, you know, doubling that, it's not bad, right? Just needs more exposure, more time. But what's cool about this park in Pensacola is that, you know, it's a bigger size. You know, we like to buy units that are 50+ units, and it's what I would call it in my hometown, right? So it's, you know, 30 minutes from my house. We'll have an on-site manager and payroll and stuff like that, but it's nice to be able to go by if something's wrong and just be like, you know what, screw it. I'm sick of dealing with phone calls and emails and texts. I'm just gonna go there, meet me there, let's take care of this and get it done, right? So that is a nice thing to be able to do, and that's one advantage of having something close by. Obviously, you know, you got to get comfortable if you're going to scale and expand to have things in other states and cities far away that you can't just drive to. I mean, we've got, you know, 120 units that are almost 900 miles away, so we're doing it, but it's just there's another level of complexity and one more level removed, lack of control on that asset, because you're heavily reliant on a third party to give you everything. So, and you, like I said earlier, you can potentially get screwed if you got a good management team and you hired well, which we obviously didn't. You can, you know, if you've got a good team there, they can do great for you and essentially have a hands-off property. But, you know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right? So that one's going to be good. We are fully subscribed. It was a $700,000 raise, and my role in that company, so I will be actually investing quite a bit of my own personal cash into this deal, because I really truly believe in it. And I also raised all the money that's going into the deal from, you know, just fellow investors who were interested and had some money and needed to put it into this deal. So, you know, a total of $700,000. We were actually oversubscribed at about $800,000 total. So we've got a little bit left over for the next deal. And then a couple other guys who have kind of reached out in the last few days, saying that they're interested in you know, doing some stuff with us, and I'm pretty excited about that. A couple of them are good buddies, some from as far back as high school. So it's crazy how you know, those relationships that you built can come back, and it's really cool to kind of, you know, hear from those guys. So pretty excited to give them a call. We got a couple scheduled calls later this week and this weekend, so I'm pretty excited about that. So that one's going to close next Wednesday, and that'll be pretty neat. So it's 61 spaces. It's an RV park. What's the kind of the funny story about that one is it's right on the road that's right across the street from a training field that I flew at for almost 8 years as a instructor pilot and as a student here in Pensacola. So we would go, you know, fly our helicopters over there and do, you know, training, do contact work, do auto rotations, do navigation stuff. And I've seen this park, and right as I started getting investing back in the 2017 point, I was like, I'm gonna buy that park. I want that park. I don't know how I'm gonna get it. I want it. And a couple years ago, about 18 months, almost 2 years ago, I I reached out to the seller and I got in touch with him, and we had gone back and forth on the price, and I thought I had a price kind of worked out with him, which was actually considerably lower than the price that we're actually buying. But 2 years ago the market was very, very different, and his rents were lower and stuff, so the price was a fair market price at the time. But anyway, I thought we had worked something out, and then he just ghosted me. He went cold. So come to find out later, after we had locked this up again, I should say my partners locked it up. My buddies with their capital company, I just helped out on raising the money, but they did all the work, underwriting it, negotiating this with the seller, working with the banks, all that stuff. They did all the heavy lifting. I got to do the fun part, right? So what happened is the two brothers were given the park from their father, and the brothers didn't like each other, didn't get along, and so it's kind of like the left hand not talking to the right hand. And so one would say, yeah, we're good with it, and the other one would say, screw you, I'm not doing that, and then the other one would do the same thing, and it'd go back and forth. So nobody could ever kind of nail them down. And then they wanted an exorbitant amount, like $4 million for this park, which down the road, once we get it done, it's gonna be worth well over that. But right now, based off the rents, it's just not worth that. So you can't ask more than the park. I mean, you can ask whatever you want, but you're not going to get more than the park is worth if you didn't do the work. So anyway, they got a price nailed down, and we're going to close on it. But what's cool is that it's actually 23 total acres, and only about, I don't know, 5 or 6 acres is being used. We got a whole bunch of land in the back that we're going to expand out. So we're going to get the park, we're going to update the rents, bring them up to market rent. They're about an average of about $150 to $200 below market rent for long term. And then we're going to transition several of the units, especially the ones on the water, over to kind of the short term, the luxury spots, and they should be $300, $400, $500 more a month at a 75% occupancy. So we're excited about that. And then we're going to get a construction loan after we stabilize everything, get the books right, and then go ahead and build out the back of the park, which is actually kind of a nicer area of the park. We're going to put some tiny homes, put the the glamping spots, the luxury RV pads, all that kind of stuff, and make it really, real nice. And then we're going to refinance the park at that point, do a cost segregation study after the park is built out, so we can get that big depreciation bump. That'll probably be year 3, something like that, end of year 2, beginning of year 3, somewhere around there. Kind of depends on how long it takes us to develop the park out. But yeah, so then we'll be able to ideally get this thing up to 2-3 times what it's worth now, and have a really, really solid park that we can either continue to cash flow, which will cash flow really well, or we can sell it and then move our funds into something else. The disadvantage to selling it is that you got to pay a bunch of taxes, but the advantage is that you get a big chunk of change up front versus cash flow, which is much lower tax rate. You get to continue to keep working those that depreciation schedule, but the funds come slower and over time. So it kind of just depends on your strategy. So we'll figure that out kind of when we get there. We've got 2 options though. So anyway, so you can see there's a lot of construction that's recently gone down. This is Highway 90. So they've been expanding this road for the last 4 or 5 years in preparation for all the urban sprawl that's coming this way. So a lot of development. You've got the Navy Federal buildings coming up right there. There's the new one over there, new expansion, and then you've got an older building here, and then right up over the hill is going to be what used to be called Site 8. It's a Navy outlying field, and it was land swapped from the military and given to the county in exchange for land in a more remote area to do helicopter training. So all of this has happened in the last 3 or 4 years, and then there's a Publix down here. I don't know if you can see that big huge tower down there. It's kind of down there, and then right after these trees, this kind of nice area, that's Site 8, which is 1 mile by 1 mile square. So 1 square mile, a little bit bigger, but about that, is going to be developed into a mixture between commercial, industrial, as well as residential. So all this right here, this was an old Navy field. We used to land there. We used to do a ton of landings over in here. You can see it's kind of getting overgrown and stuff, but awesome field. Miss it, but it is what it is. Some kind of hoity-toity neighborhoods over here. We're looking like $500,000 plus homes, which is pretty sweet. And then you can see all that up there is going to be all developed. It's about a mile square. All right, way up there, probably about a mile from where we're at right now, you can see some cones and things like that. There's a development that's going on right there. And then we are about to pull into the park right down where that next turn lane is. Just trying to give a little kind of orientation about all the stuff that's going on and start seeing some RVs start peeking through here. All right, so where we will own is from right here, abeam us right now. See a couple ponds, see the lakes, and it keeps going on. It's actually a pretty deep property, so not super wide, probably about 800 feet wide. And then there's the park right there. And I'll do a quick walkthrough. I know my windows are pretty nasty. And they're old, and I should really do a better job at cleaning it. But anyway, here you go. So we're pulling in here. So you can see, needs some updating here. Some of the homes you can tell are kind of the older, long-term. People have, you know, kind of lower quality stuff. You got tarps on the roofs and things because they're here long-term. However, do have some nicer ones off to the right here. Okay, gravel overall. The grounds look okay. A couple little, it's a little bit remiss of gravel, could use some more. This up here is the office, if I remember correctly, or the on-site guy, I can't remember. And then you see we're kind of coming to the more luxury spots over here. Little park, definitely need to do some work on that. Super underutilized because it's kind of nasty. All right, and then back here, hopefully I can get back here without getting stuck. But so that's the old park, or that's the current park. So the expansion, you see the lakes. I'll talk about the lakes here really quick. They're pretty nice looking, right? It's not like a little nasty retention pond. Like, these are legit, you know, you could fish out of them. They're stocked, bass, bluegill, stuff like that. So as we drive back here, we're gonna have to kind of shore this up and make sure people don't mess this up, and we're gonna have a loop around, so it's a one-way, and it'll probably go over to that berm, which goes between those two ponds. Right now it's predominantly being used for storage and stuff like that. We'll have to clean up this road. All right, and then we will expand back here, and all these are going to be kind of the nice waterfront luxury spots. We'll have a walking trail. We're actually going to put some homes that extend out. We're going to call them floating pads, or floating homes that kind of go out. They're going to be on stilts, but we're going to call them floating. So you'll be basically living out over the top of the water, which is pretty cool. And like I said, it's pretty rough back here. It's completely raw. So there's some wetlands. You saw we kind of drove through some wetter areas. This is high and dry up here, so I would imagine we're going to have some stuff built up here, and then this area hits a little bit more wet. You can see it kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but it kind of goes downhill past where these RVs are and the bushes. So anyway, it's actually a really nice boat. It's decent. It's a Sea Fox, but not bad. So this is where the new development's going to be. We got to, you know, do the engineering and the wetland study and all that kind of stuff. There's things that have to, you know, go on in order for us to be able to develop it out. But the good news is that even if nothing happens, no developments approved, the city shuts us down. Again, this is extreme worst case scenario because I don't see this happening at all. They're highly encouraging of new nice luxury RV parks, especially in close proximity to all these new developments and things that are going on. Plus it's already zoned as an RV park. We just got to really up our licensure to allow for more units. So and then obviously the development, the permits, and all that stuff. So we're estimating 40 units, and that's a combination of RV pads, tiny homes, and then potentially adding a few more with the water floating homes, because those won't be on any buildable land. They'll be over the water, which is pretty cool. And so we'll add a like walking trail, we'll add a dog park, we'll expand out, probably move that park that you saw up there, that little janky one. That could probably be about 2 more pads, and then we'll put that probably back here in a more, you know, conducive area. It looks a little bit nicer, things like that. So really excited about this. Can't wait to get this one you know, closed out next week, and I will definitely keep you up to date on this one, because this is just one of those really cool projects that's just going to be fun. It's going to be, you know, a 2 to 3 year project, so we'll just kind of keep you updated over the next couple of years, and we'll see how it goes. All right, well, I have to go to that other property. My dad is waiting on some supplies that I have here in my truck, so I'll catch you guys later. Next video for this is going to be at the closing table with Bob and Jeremy and I, so pretty excited about that. You guys take care.